This is why the international break does not favor the big teams. The international break does not favor the big clubs. This is the reason. During international breaks, over 80% of the big team players, for instance, Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal, name them, Man City, over 80% of their players will be called up on international duty. They will be called up for international duty. While the smaller clubs, at least maybe an infinitesimal number of, let's say, 5 or 10% of their players will be called off. What does that mean? It means that those 80 players or 80% players that were called up should have been resting at home. But no, they will still be working their socks off. And after which, they will still come back and face another weekday in the EPL or La Liga or Bundesliga or Serie A or League One. That is how bad it is. Why the so-called small teams whose player has rested well, has rested enough, has had enough recreation, will be meeting or facing those games fresh from the oven. Why these so-called big teams, will have their players with tired legs. And notice, anytime big clubs returns from international assignment, it is always difficult for them to win the smaller teams. That is when you see surprises. That is when you see smaller team coming to take big teams by surprise. That is when you see, I don't know how there's this term they call it, surprising defeat coming. Well, you hear that Stoke City won Arsenal or Stoke City won Manchester City. It is always like that. Why? Because the big team players, they are just coming from another duty, and this is international duty. They'll play across 2 legs, sometimes 3 games, and they'll be training on daily. Why these ones are already relaxed and resting? You understand? Gathering back their pace and their muscle. So it is never easy for big team players. The international break, I think, is doing more injustice to the big team players than the small team players. And these international coaches, they will not learn. Sometimes, even when they have already qualified, they will still be calling up these important players. I don't know why. You know you have already qualified for a tournament, then you have an international game. Why not call the ones? Why not call the ones that are not so much important to their teams? This is the big problem that big players are facing. This is the problems that are facing, and this is why you kept on seeing missed results during or after international break. So expect more surprises at the call of this international break. Expect more surprises because, as usual, injuries will hit, fatigue will hit, a lot of things will hit, a lot of things will happen. Why these ones are coming out so fresh, so fresh? Why these ones are coming with tired legs? What do you expect? These guys are human beings, they are not machines. This is why I hate international break.